Now, let's talk about your 30-day attack plan, because now that you have learned everything, now that you have implemented your foundational building block, it's really the time to take action. This is the time for us to do something which is extremely important to help you get meetings. And what I'm now going to share with you is something that will allow you to be focused and allow you to get more meetings by just doing the things that matters and without getting distracted. And what I call a 30-day attack plan. It's a tool that I have created to help you with the implementations. It's a calendar tool that I'm going to give you access to. So this tool is going to help you, stay everything organized, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Now, we talked about the power and decision activities in previous module, and this is kind of all built on top of it, because this is the time for you to now focus on all those key activities that really matters when it comes to getting meetings and getting client. And here's the book I would recommend reading. It's called The Power of Habit, and it's a great book, and it talks about how habits are built in our personal and business life. And the essence of the book is what they refer to as trigger, action, and reward, where you want to start an activity on a particular trigger, which means, let's say, the first thing in the morning you wake up. That could be a trigger for you to spend time on doing some power activities. And the action would be what you do, which is the instructions that I'm giving you in the training. And you want to reward yourself. Once you complete it, you want to give yourself a small reward. It could be just a coffee you have, or a snack you want to grab, or something like that. So book talks about how can you train your brain so that you can build a habit. You can do something without even thinking about it, right? And it's a good book. I highly recommend reading, because this is going to give you what is required, which is to build the habit of doing some activities that is going to help you get clients. And the reason I put into a 30-day kind of plan is because if you do something for 30 days, the likelihood of that becoming habit is pretty high. People say that it could take you up to 3 months to 6 months to really build a habit. But if you do something for 30 days, you are on your path of building a habit. So let's say if you want to wake up earlier than what you do today, if you do that for 30 days, if you woke up an hour earlier, then chances are you are going to be able to continue that for longer, right? For example, if you want to exercise and if you haven't been exercising, if you religiously do that for 30 days, then chances of you continue exercise is higher, right? So that's the whole idea. And now let me show you the calendar tool that you will be getting now that can help you, and I'm going to show you how it works. So here's a tool that you have, the Excel file which I call your attack plan tool. And if you open that, it will open like this on your Google Sheet. You can make a copy of it from here. And what you really see, it's a monthly calendar. So I'm giving you the days of the week and the dates, and feel free to change it to the month that you start implementing it. And essentially, if you see here, it's just a day and a date with a block, right? So this is kind of how you plan all your 30 days. And what we want to plan is all the power activities which you have here, right? So if you go back to what we have seen before, we have some activities like branding activities, and in branding we are doing post, which is a task, and then instruction. So I'm giving you a template of what you can follow based on everything we have done. Now, if you want to add more, feel free to do so. This is like a good template based on what I have shown you in the training program. And what you should be doing every single day is you want to work on these activities, right? You want to do branding, which is post and blog, and you write 10 posts. Obviously, this is for month, send to compliance approval, couple of blog posts per month, and then connecting on LinkedIn, send 80 connections via Linked Helper, 30 friends manually on Facebook, send 10 emails, and then advancing would be responding to people on LinkedIn, people on Facebook, reply to emails. Converting would be, setting meetings, doing a 5-step follow-up that I gave you, right? Switching would be, going from second to third message, going to next campaign, and then obviously updating everything in Pipedrive, labeling people, right? This is really what you need to focus on. And what you do here is you look at all the activities and you plan your day. And I would say at least do a week ahead in planning, or a month if you could do that. So for example, you can take the activity from here and just say, okay, I'm going to spend time on, branding, right? So you can just write branding activity, and you can just write post as well if that's what you plan to do. And then obviously you want to connect, right? And you can just put connection could be 80 and 30, right? And 10. This is like 80 LinkedIn, 30 Facebook, 10 emails, right? Things like that. And then say I'm going to spend 30 minutes on advancing, which means you're replying to people's email, right? And then you are going to do follow-ups. I highly recommend to do daily follow-ups, right? Based on what I showed you. Follow-up, right? And then switching is going to be a weekly task, right? So you can put this, and you might be doing, PD updates once a week. You might be doing, switching once a week, right? And this is really how you do it. You can copy paste this thing every Saturday if you're doing that activity, and just put it like this. And if this is your daily activity, let's say post you are doing once a month, and then you come back here and you're doing this, right? You're connecting with people, 30 minutes advancing, 30 minutes follow-up. That's it. These are really the activities that's going to move needle into your practice. Nothing really else matters, right? You don't want to get distracted. I hear a lot of advisors complain about time. They don't have time to do, what is required to do, and they're always struggling to get clients because they don't have the discipline to do this thing. And I follow this in my own life. And since I started doing this, it changed. Now, again, we are going to have some days that you're going to miss. It happens to me as well. And that's okay. But as long as you have a process, as long as you understand that you have to do, if you do this thing, you get meetings and you get clients. And that will allow you to get back on track. Like when I go out of track, which happens obviously, but I do know that I need to come back and do this thing, right? So I go back to my own calendar and look into this and start doing the actions. And every single day I'm improving to make sure that I build the habit to do this thing. So I'm showing you what I personally use, and it works better because it keeps you on track. Otherwise, with all your other things going on, it's going to be a challenge. And as you see here, you probably are going to spend about like an hour a day or less, right? It could be like 15 minutes advancing, it could be 15 minutes follow-up, right? I'm just using this as an example. But just spending like hour to hour and a half a day on your client acquisition activity on level 1 will guarantee you meetings and client, right? And this calendar tool is going to help you do that and stay organized. And if there are other things you want to add here, do so as well. Now, again, I don't want you to make this like your calendar for everything, right? Because you may have your office meetings, you might have other projects you're working on, you might have some personal commitment and all that. You want to keep this more of a client acquisition calendar in my view, because if you add a whole bunch of other things here, then chances are you might end up just doing those and not doing these. And I want this calendar to be all about your client acquisition. So I suggest design your own calendar, wake up every morning, come here and execute. And once you're done, I would change the color. You can go up on top and just, mark it gray, right? And if you're working today, I like to always do it yellow. So today would be yellow. So if it is Tuesday today, then I'm working on these things. And then at the end of the day, I see if I did this, and if I did this, I'm going to mark it. You can change colors and obviously strike it out as well, which means this is done, right? So you can just do the same as well. And again, just to update this thing once a day, right? That's fine. You don't have to have this thing open and updated. The goal of this is not to distract you, but just to keep you on track. So again, activities, task, instructions right here, put it in the calendar, execute. You do this thing, you are going to be making a lot of progress. And that's really the reason I'm giving you this tool. And let me end this particular module by some quote. As Dale Carnegie said, knowledge isn't power until it's applied. So you have been given a lot of knowledge in this training, right? So far, I've given you the high-level strategies and I've given you low-level steps as I promised you. And a lot of knowledge is being given, but none of that matters unless you apply it and implement it, right? And I've given you implementation tools to help you implement. And, another quote by Thomas Edison says that I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. So going back to my point about no failures but feedback, this is exactly what Thomas Edison had to say, which is if you have a message and you're not getting meetings, well, you just found a message that doesn't work. That's not to say that you're never going to get meeting, right? That's the whole idea of feedback. Now you know it doesn't work. So let's find another one that will work. And this is how he invented what he invented, which is the light bulb. So that is the process of getting feedback. And here's a very interesting one. It says you can't build a great building on a weak foundation, right? So going back to my level campaign model, you will never be able to build a consistent client acquisition system in your practice unless you have level 1, which is the foundation level, working, right? There's no point in doing any other complicated campaigns unless you have this foundation. You can't build a great building on a weak foundation. And that is really how you want to think about level 1. Level 1 is your foundation that you need to put in place. And I have given you all the information and I'm providing you all the help to make that happen. So hope this particular video was useful. Go ahead and take all the action items. Thanks a lot for watching and I'll see you in the next week training program. But again, no need to rush. Just work on this for a few months. Let's get some meetings and client. And I look forward to helping you in your journey. Thank you so much.